Hi everyone. Today in this presentation, I'm going to go over some basics on homeopathy, just review them, and then I'm going to go into some remedies that should be there in your basic homeopathic kit. So if you're new to homeopathy and you're starting out, these are the remedies that you should start out. And then as you go along, you can always build, and I'll cover a few more remedies in part two of this presentation. So today I'm going to go over the most basic homeopathic remedies for a newbie who's just starting out. These are the remedies I can do without, and I'm going to go over indications of each of those remedies. So welcome, let's get started. So as always, my standard disclaimer, thank you for your interest in homeopathy. Welcome to our friends and family homeopathic community. I've been practicing homeopathy since 1994, special love for homeopathy. And my goal is to empower, educate, and guide families looking to incorporate safe and effective over-the-counter, non-prescription homeopathic remedies in their well-care routine. And all the material that I'm providing at this presentation is for educational purposes only. It's not intended as a substitute for a physician's consultation. Seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition, and always consult a qualified physician prior to taking any remedies, medications, or supplements. So a little bit about me. I have a bachelor's degree in homeopathy from the Mumbai University in India, and I've been in the US for 22 years now. So here I'm both certified by the Council for Homeopathic Certification, registered with the North American Society of Homeopaths, and I'm a lifetime member of the National Center for Homeopathy. Since I am a homeopath and not an MD here in the US, I ask that families retain services of the primary care physician for appropriate evaluations, diagnostics, checkups, and referrals to specialists if the need arises. My relationship with my families is that of an educator, not of a prescriber, and it's their choice to use or not use the information that I give them. So, as with anything that you use for yourself and your family, you must research and find answers to all your queries and never disregard any medical advice or delay seeking such advice. So just a quick review of the frequently asked questions on homeopathy. I have made a separate video on this. You can look that up. That answers everything, but I'm just going over in case somebody's just come straight to this video. Homeopathy is a holistic system of medicine, safely and effectively treats everyday ailments as well as acute and chronic symptoms of mind and body by stimulating the body's own self-healing abilities. This system of medicine is over 200 years old and was founded by a German physician, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. And homeopathy is based on the law of similars, which means that a remedy that produces symptoms in a healthy person can cure those same symptoms if they are manifested in a person in his disease state. Are homeopathic remedies safe? Yes, they're safe, inexpensive, non-toxic, and they work. They can be administered to babies, pregnant women, as well as the elderly under the supervision of a qualified homeopath. There's no side effects when a carefully chosen remedy is administered in the right potency and the right dosage. How are these remedies administered? They're best taken by mouth. They should be taken on a clean, neutral mouth, and any food or drink should be avoided for at least 15 minutes before or after taking the remedy. It's all right to drink water before the remedy, but avoid even water for at least 15 minutes after taking the remedy. And it's recommended that this gap be increased to at least half an hour if tea, coffee, alcohol, mint, garlic, onion, or any other strong substance has been consumed. Remedies will not be absorbed if your mouth tastes of toothpaste, a strongly flavored or a seasoned food. In that case, just rinse out your mouth thoroughly with water before giving or taking the remedy. What are some of the sources of homeopathic remedies? So they are derived from natural substances, so from plants, minerals, animals, nosodes, which is diseased tissue, sarcodes, They're so highly diluted that not a single molecule of the original substance remains in potencies that are higher than 12C or 24X. And I'll be going over how a potency is made in a minute. Some of the common remedies and their sources are plants. So you have aconite, allium cepa, Arnica montana, most famous homeopathic remedy, Belladonna, Chalcemium, Hydrastis, Chamomilla, and a lot of these remedies are going to be in the basic kit that I'm going to go over. Cardus, Hypericum, Leadimpal, Naxwamica, Pulsatilla, Sambucus, which is your black elderberry, Taraxacum, Verbascum, and then you have the animal sources. So you have Apis mellifica. I'm going to be talking about Apis further down in this presentation. It's amazing for any allergies. Asteria rubens, Buforana, Cantharis, Spanish fly, Lachesis, Ocelococcinum, Sepia, Spongia tosta, which is not in the basic kit, but will be in my part 2 of this presentation. Spongia is indispensable for that, dry, hacking, croupy cough. And then you have the mineral sources. So you have Prophytus, Silesia, sulfur, hypersulf, Sanicum alb, Orometallicum, Gentum metallicum, gold and silver, Calcarea carb, which is the oyster shell, Natrum mure, common salt, and then nosodes, meaning from diseased tissue. They're sourced from secretions of a diseased organ or a tissue. We have carcinosin, influenzinum, surinum, tuberculinum, medorinum, syphilinum. So these nosodes should not be used by lay people. Nosodes are usually given under the supervision of a qualified homeopath or holistic practitioner. You have sarcodes, which are sourced from healthy tissue. So you have thyroidinum, parotidinum, colestrinum. These are some of the well-known sarcodes. Other than that, we also have remedies that are sourced from imponderabilia, so basically from energetic sources. Some of the examples are X-ray, radium brome, which is radium bromide. Then you can have a remedy from electricity, from sunlight, moonlight, so sol, luna. So basically taking the essence of these energies. Then you have magnetis foliambo, which is sourced from the energy from a magnet. How are homeopathic remedies prepared? So I've gone over this in the FAQs presentation, but very quickly, as you can see, the process by which remedies are prepared is potentization, and its remedy is prepared by diluting the substance in a series of steps. The liquid substances are potentized by succussion, solid substances by trituration, and the two most common systems used to prepare the remedies and the potencies are the decimal and the centesimal. So as the name suggests, the decimal system has a 1 in 9 dilution, whereas the centesimal has a 1 in 99 dilution. Remedies are available in liquid, pellet, as well as tablet form. And the commonest potencies available are 6x, 12x, 6C, 12C, 30C, and 200C. If you go and look at the FAQs presentation, it'll make more sense. And you'll be able to figure out better next time when you look at a potency and you see an X or a C or a number in front of it, you'll know what that means. So what is the right potency and what is the right dose? So chronic diseases are treated with infrequent repetitions of the higher potency of a deeper acting constitutional or state remedy, whereas acute conditions are treated with frequent repetitions of the low potency. The sensitivity of the individual patient also plays an important role in selection of remedy and potency. The more dilute a potency, the higher in potency or energy it's considered to be. So for example, if you see a 12C or a 6C or a 30C, that is considered a low potency versus a 200C or a 1000C, which is a 1M, is considered to be energetically higher, even though it's more dilute. For the purpose of this presentation and for building our basic kit, The 30C is the potency I recommend. It's considered safe to use for infants, children, and adults. There's no side effects when a carefully chosen remedy is administered in the right potency and the right dose. One tiny pill is considered one dose. Whole bottle, whole vial of 70-80 tiny sugar pellets, if taken at one time, is still considered as one dose. It's the number of times the remedy is given which is more important, not the number of pills. So you can start by giving 1 to 3 doses in an acute situation, 5 to 30 minutes apart on a clean neutral mouth, and then decrease the frequency and give a dose every 1 to 4 hours as getting better, and then tapering to twice a day, once a day, and then stopping as symptoms improve. And of course, your homeopath or naturopath will be able to guide you to the right remedy, right potency, right dosage. So I love Miranda Castro. Anybody who's seen my presentation knows that she's my queen. I'm a huge fan of her. And in brief, here are her thoughts about using homeopathic remedies. The beauty of homeopathy is that less is more. Less is more meaning you're just giving the body a gentle, tiny stimulus to self-heal. So less is more. You don't need to give a lot. The symptoms are your guide as to how many doses of a remedy are needed. So less is more. More is not more. In fact, more can be a bad thing. If you take too much of a remedy, whether you need it or not, and if you're sensitive in general, or if you're sensitive to that remedy in particular, you may develop symptoms that you didn't have before. They won't last very long, but they can be a pain, literally. Because that's how we test our remedies. Remedies are given to healthy individuals, and then the healthy individuals note down the symptoms they develop on taking the remedy, which then dissipate as the effect of the remedy wears off. And then when we see those symptoms in a diseased person, we match the symptoms and give that remedy. And on the basis of our principle, like cures like, the remedy effects brings about that change and takes away the reason for the person having those symptoms. Don't take unnecessary medications, including homeopathic remedies. Stick with the 30 potency unless you're under the treatment or the guidance of a homeopathic practitioner who's made other recommendations. The 30C potency is strong but gentle, and it has a proven track record. There's rarely a need to go higher than a 200C in an acute situation. So when would you consider using a 200C in an acute situation? Supposing you are taking the 30C of an acute remedy and you're needing to take it every hour to 2 hours, meaning you take it, you feel better for like an hour or 2 hours, symptoms come back, which means the remedy is right, but you're needing too many repetitions. That's when I would consider, okay, we're on the remedy, we know the remedy is right, but you just need a little higher potency. In which case, if you're needing a number of doses, more than 6 to 8 doses in a day, I would consider going to the 200C of that same remedy. So as we said, the remedies are safe, inexpensive, non-toxic, easily available. A remedy costs $5 to $10 each. You can get it at Whole Foods, Mrs. Green's, Vitamin Shop, or you can invest in like a basic remedy kit, or you can build as you go based on your family's needs. So this is a Helios 18 remedy kit. They also sell a 36 remedy kit. There are also 100 remedy kits by a lot of other manufacturers like Highlands, Washington Homeopathics, Boiron, and they're all equally good. I like to build my own kit. So I'm going to go over the remedies that are in my basic kit. And then in part 2 of this presentation, I'll go over my, beyond kit. So after you have made a basic kit, you can add on more remedies to that kit. So now we'll go over the most commonly used over-the-counter non-prescription homeopathic remedies that according to me, everybody should have in a basic starter homeopathic kit. The remedies that I cannot do without: Arnica montana, Aconite napellus, Belladonna, Chamomilla, Apis mellifica, Leadimpal, Nux vomica, Chalcemium, Sanicum alb, Hypericum, Helleborus niger, Rustox, Ignatia amara, Brownia alba, Phosphorus, Staphysagra, Cantharis, And last but not the least, carbo veg. So carbo veg has become my new favorite remedy, especially during the pandemic. This remedy has been amazing in helping people who have been affected by this current virus. It's really helped them breathe better. It's called the corpse reviver, and it can really help you oxygenate better. So, basic kit. The very first remedy that should be in everybody's basic kit is aconite. Aconite is for symptoms that come on suddenly: coughs, colds, runny nose, low grade fever, discomfort in the early stages. It's amazing in those first 24 to 36 hours, restlessness with anxiety. The ailments come on from exposure to cold. This remedy, if given early on, will actually nip the cold in the bud. The next remedy is arnica. Arnica is the first one to consider for any kind of injuries, shock, bleeding, bruises, sprains, strains, fear of being touched due to the pain. It's the number one remedy for any trauma, accidents. And then we always use arnica first, and then you can follow it up with other indicated remedies. This rule changes if there has been a break in skin. If there is a break in skin, I advise that Leadimpal be taken first, 1 to 2 doses, and then follow it up with arnica. But for all other injuries, we do arnica first. The next remedy is belladonna. So, but with belladonna, there is usually fever and pain, which is shooting or throbbing in nature. Symptoms that come on suddenly and are violent. For example, you have cramps. It is sometimes called the homeopathic equivalent to Tylenol. I hate using that analogy, but it is our leading anti-inflammatory remedy for acute situations. For some people, if they don't want to use belladonna, there is an equivalent remedy, which is ferrum phos, and that works equally well for the same kind of symptoms. The next remedy is chamomilla. It's my go-to remedy for teething, where the child is cranky, bad-tempered, unbearable teething pains, stools are green and loose, they get worse at night, can't seem to settle down. The chamomilla will is really magical in those kind of situations. So this I call my ABCs of my basic kit. So I have two A's, which is your aconite and your arnica, and then B is your belladonna, and C is your chamomilla. So these are the very first four remedies that should be in everybody's basic kit: aconite, arnica, belladonna, and chamomile. So I'm going to just elaborate a little bit more about each of them. Aconite, we got this from the National Center for Homeopathy. I love them. Lifetime member of the National Center for Homeopathy. Aconite, it stops the oncoming cold. If it's taken at the very first sign of a runny nose or chills, it can prevent the cold and respiratory complaints from developing. So stock up so that you're going to be ready. Arnica. Arnica helps with bumps, bruises, soreness that comes on after overexertion or trauma, after surgery, dental work to speed healing. It's available in pills as well as in topical lotions and can be found in most pharmacies, health foods, and grocery stores. Small disclaimer when using arnica: do not use arnica before a procedure, because arnica increases the blood supply to the region. So that's the reason why you don't want to use arnica before a procedure, because you don't want to bleed out. So arnica is best used after the procedure. And again, if there has been break in skin, I recommend doing the Leadimpal 1 to 2 doses and then following it up with the arnica. Belladonna, again, just a quick review: symptoms that come on suddenly, violently, headache, shooting pains, throbbing pains, cramps, spasms. So both the remedies, aconite and belladonna, have ailments from exposure to cold. So how would you differentiate when to use aconite and when to use belladonna? The aconite would be used if you have that clear runny nose, and the low-grade fever. Whereas with belladonna, the chances are that you will be having a headache and a sore throat. So both have ailments from exposure to cold or cold air, but you would use aconite if there's that clear runny nose and a little bit of a dry cough, and you would use belladonna if there is like a sore throat or a headache. Chamomilla. Teething baby can be truly miserable. Share that misery with everybody around them. They can be pretty vocal. Babies that need chamomilla. And this homeopathic chamomilla will help save everyone from the pain. You can try it for irritable and flushed babies with one cheek red, one cheek white, and babies that are irritable and they cry from the discomfort of teething or just throwing a tantrum. This is a great remedy to soothe infants and toddlers. I've used it in adults as well. So if you are in that mood where you want to throw a tantrum because something is not going your way, you can use chamomilla. It's not just for infants and toddlers and children. I have used it with success in adults as well. Moving on to the next remedies in a basic kit. So we've gone over Aconite, Arnica, Belladonna, and Chamomilla, your ABCs. Now moving on to the next remedy that I can do without, which is Apis mellifica. For bee stings, any insect stings, allergic reactions to food, medications, exposure to toxins. So if a person develops hives, redness, swelling, this is the remedy to reach for. But do note that some allergies can be life-threatening, and 911 should definitely be called in an event if there is swelling, difficulty breathing, loss of consciousness. And while you're waiting for EMS to arrive, this remedy can be given in the meanwhile. But it is possible that, if you give enough doses at 3 to 5 minute interval, that by the time EMS get there, you may be totally fine and may not need to go. But you should not take an allergic reaction lightly. Always be conscious of what situation it is, and if you need to call 911 or go to the ER, absolutely do that. Follow your gut feeling. The next remedy for my basic kit is Leadimpal. I like it more than even Arnica because that's the remedy I go for if there is any break in skin, any puncture, any cut, scrape, any insect bite. So even if there's a bee sting, before giving Apis, I like to do at least one dose of Leadimpal, and then I can go on to the Apis. Because whenever there is break in skin and there's a chance of an introduction of a foreign body, you want Leadimpal on your side. We live in Lyme country, and Leadimpal is my go-to remedy if there has been a tick bite. Next remedy for the basic kit is Naxvomica. Naxvomica for any occasional constipation, gas, indigestion, especially if it's due to dietary indiscretion. And you can also, the mom and child, baby, both can use it. If the mother has eaten spicy food and the baby is having issues, both mom and baby can use this. Gelsemium. Gelsemium is my go-to remedy for any anticipatory anxiety before an event, stress. It's also the remedy for fever with chills and with that heaviness, lethargy, inability to be able to keep your eyes open. So if you feel like you're coming down with something and you're feeling cold, Gelsemium is your remedy to nip that illness in the bud. Next remedy is Arsenicum Al. Arsenicum can be used as a preventative if you have been exposed to somebody who is not well. So preventative if exposed to a sick person. It's also the remedy for food poisoning, so diarrhea or vomiting. We give a dose after each throw up or loose motion, so whichever way it's coming out of. If you are throwing up or if you're having loose motions, you can take a dose right after. So if you throw up, then just rinse your mouth out and take a dose. So as you keep taking it, the number of times that it's coming out of your body will start to come down. And this remedy works with your body. So you're not suppressing what is coming out because that's body's defense mechanism if you have ingested food which is not which is, spoiled or is infected, then you want the body to throw it out. So you don't want to keep it inside. So what arsenicum alb does is it works with your body to help you heal from that. One of the keynotes for this remedy is thirst for small sips of water. I've had a mom once call me and confirm the remedy diagnosis when she said that he wants to suck on a piece of ice. So he had the ice in a little bowl next to him, and every few minutes he would take a small he would pick up a piece of ice and suck on it. So they were that I took as thirst for small sips of water, and that confirmed my remedy that I was on the right track with arsenicum. So again, just a quick review of the remedies we went over. Apis mellifica for bites and stings when the area is swollen, stinging, sensitive. There may be burning, itching, and it feels better by cold application. Any allergic reactions where there is sudden swelling or puffiness. And apis is also a remedy for UTIs and for cystitis when there is burning and stinging while passing urine. Leadimpal, um, another amazing graphic from the National Center for Homeopathy. Um, it's great to overcome minor vaccine reactions, symptoms at the site of the injection. For the homeopathic Leadum can reduce redness and aching pain. So we already went over. I love Leadum for any puncture wounds or any break in skin. So if you are choosing to be vaccinated, you can take a dose of Leadimpal after, and it'll help with the local redness and swelling and inflammation. Next, Swamika. We all overindulge at some point. Coffee, food, that extra glass of wine, and too much of a good thing can make us feel lousy. So it's not even too much of a good thing. Sometimes there's just irregularity in the time. So, for example, if you went out on the weekend or you went to a party or a wedding and you ate a little too much, or you ate at a time which is not your regular time, and if your stomach is upset, this is the remedy for you. It's great for hangovers, it's great for jet lag, indigestion, nausea, headache that occur when we overdo or we step out of our comfort zone. Arsenicum alb. We talked about arsenicum alb for food poisoning, for allergies, as a preventative if exposed to a sick person. If you're chilled, anxious, pale, the homeopathic arsenicum alb may be able to provide relief. It's helpful for weakness, for diarrhea, vomiting, burning. So it's a very useful remedy for these conditions and more. And remember, if you have diarrhea or vomiting, you take a remedy, a dose, right after each time it comes out, whichever end it's coming out. Gelsemium. Gelsemium is you feel achy, fatigue. This is again the remedies for the current virus, also for the vaccination. So if you've already taken the Leadimpal, and if you are feeling achy, fatigued, and you're feeling cold, meaning feeling chills, gelsemium is the remedy for you. If you remember, I mentioned it's the remedy for anticipatory anxiety. So this is a remedy to take before any procedure, before a presentation, before travel. If you're having people over your house for an event, or with the holidays coming up, this is the one to take that edge off and to just bring you back to your center. So now I'm going to go over some other remedies for first aid situations. So we went over my absolute basic kit, and then these are a few more remedies that are a part of my basic arsenal, which I never travel without. If I have to go anywhere, I always have these on hand. So we talked about Aconite, Arnica, Belladonna, Chamomilla. And we went over Apis mellifica, Leadimpal, Nux vomica, Arsenicum, and Gelsemium. Now, there are a couple more remedies that I'm going to add to this list to round off my basic kit. So, we already went over Leadum. I can't harp about it enough. Any break in skin, puncture, cuts, scrape, insect bites, tick bites, bug bites, vaccination, this is the remedy to reach for. Arnica montana, any injuries, um, always give arnica. If you can start with arnica directly, if there is no break in skin. If break in skin, do leadum first, then follow it up with arnica. And then after we've done the arnica in the first couple of hours, you can choose the potency based on the severity of the pain and the discomfort of the injury and the shock. You can do a 30C, you can do a 200C based on how bad it is. And then you can follow it up with other remedies. The Helleborus niger is my go-to for any head injury, any blow to the head, and then I can always follow it up with other remedies based on the symptom presentation. But when we talk about first aid, we can't not talk about emotional first aid. So Ignatia is my go-to remedy for emotional first aid. If there has been any emotional upheaval, sadness, disappointment, hurt, tears, sadness, that's the remedy to reach for. A couple of doses will help immediately if you are going through any kind of emotional upheaval. Phosphorus. Phosphorus is my remedy for nosebleeds, for any bright red bleeding from anywhere, not just from the nose, but it's very effective for nosebleeds. So it's in my first aid basic kit. It's also the remedy for empaths who are very sensitive. This is a remedy that really helps them. Then I have hypericum, which is for injury to parts that are rich in nerves, so like fingers, toes, matrices of the nails, palms or soles. Also for injuries from treading on nails, needles, pins, or splinters. So again, I would start with the Leadimpal if there is break in skin, and then I would follow it up with hypericum if the injury is to a part that is rich in nerves. Next remedy is Brownia Alba. Brownia Alba is for any kind of pain and stiffness. Again, I would consider it after I've already used my Leadum and Arnica. So now if there is pain on movement or aggravation from any motion with relief from absolute rest, I would consider Brownia. Rustox is for any kind of rash, poison ivy. It's also for sprains and strains from overlifting, particularly if you've been if you've been stretching high to reach things. And the modality that is a clincher for Rustox is that the first motion is usually painful. So when you start moving, it's very painful, but then with continued motion, that gives you relief, which is the exact opposite of Bryonia, where they want to be completely still and any movement will cause pain and absolute rest will give them relief. Then I have Staphylos aureus. Staphylos aureus is my go-to remedy, especially during the summer months. It's a preventative for bug bites. So if you're going to be out in the woods or hiking or playing outside and you have a tendency to get bitten a lot, this is the remedy. So you can add a couple of pellets to the water bottle and keep sipping, and you will get bitten a lot less. And that translates into the emotional sphere as well. It is the remedy for feelings of anger and indignation. So if you feel something is unfair and you're upset, and you either don't want to express it because it's not going to do any good, this is the remedy for you. If you lose your temper and then you feel terrible about having said something, this is still the remedy for you. The last two remedies in my basic kit are Chem Carrots. It is the remedy to consider for any burns. So God forbid you drop hot water on yourself, or you are near a stove and you happen to touch the hot pot. This is the remedy that will help you heal very quickly. We talked about apis for UTIs. Cantharis is another remedy which is very well used for symptoms from a urinary tract infection or even bladder infections. Last remedy is carbo wedge. Carbo wedge is great for breathing issues, heaviness in the chest, as well as for bloating and gas in the upper chest, in the upper abdomen. This has become my go-to remedy, especially now, because it has really helped a lot of the families that come to me with the virus to breathe better. It seems to increase the oxygenation of the blood. So if you are having shortness of breath, this remedy, adding a couple of pellets to your bottle of water and taking sips of water throughout the day seems to really improve the breathing. We've seen to the point where the SpO2 has gone from 90 or 91 to 94 within like half an hour or within an hour of taking a couple of sips of the remedy. So this has become my new favorite remedy, Carbo Veg. It was not in my basic kit even 6 months back, but now it's indispensable. I can't imagine traveling without this remedy. So how can I learn more? So there are links on my website, on my blog, and of course there's a treasure trove of information on the internet. I'm going to put in the description below links to websites that I trust. I recommend that you join a local homeopathic study group. Use this presentation as a starting point and then learn from here. Attend a workshop, ask questions, be an informed patient, take control of your and your family's health. Like the National Center for Homeopathy's Facebook page, like my Think Homeopathy First Facebook page. Like, you can go to my blog, you can go to my website, my YouTube channel, and of course, you can also join my hashtag paid forward Think Homeopathy First Facebook group, which you can join by supporting the National Center for Homeopathy with your membership. The membership is $75 a year, and if you email me, I'll send you the discount code that'll get you $10 off. That membership is amazing. You're not only supporting homeopathy, but they have so many resources which you will find very useful. They also send you the quarterly Homeopathy Today magazine. They have Dana Allman's course on how to use a basic homeopathy kit, which is above and beyond what I've talked about. And also, they have this homeopathic house call. You get 3 months of that free, which is by Chamomilla, and that allows you access to a program where you put in your symptoms and it'll throw remedies at you to pick from. So that's amazing. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of the journey with me. Email me, yashi@yahoo.com, if you have any questions. Find me on Facebook. And, like I always say, my motto is think homeopathy first and pay it forward by continuing to help everybody. Thank you so much.